Hello, welcome to Bite Size Med. This video is on the structure of cardiac muscle. There are three kinds of muscle tissue: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle. Skeletal muscles are attached to the skeleton. Smooth muscles line the hollow viscera like blood vessels and the bladder. But cardiac muscle is specific to the heart. The heart has three layers: the epicardium on the outside, the endocardium on the inside, and the myocardium in the middle. Myo, so muscle. The myocardium has cardiac muscle tissue. It lines the walls and the septa of the heart. Skeletal and cardiac muscle are similar, but of course they've got their differences. Both skeletal and cardiac muscle are striated. They've got cross striations versus smooth muscle, which doesn't. The cross striations are because of the regular arrangement of thick and thin filaments in the sarcomeres. So both skeletal and cardiac muscle have this. If we bring back skeletal muscle, thick filaments are made up of myosin, and thin filaments are made up of actin, tropomyosin, and troponin. The thin filaments attach to the Z discs, and the structure between two Z discs is a sarcomere. The sarcomeres repeat along the length of a muscle fiber. On light microscopy, there are alternating dark and light bands. The dark A bands are the myosin filaments, and the light I bands have actin filaments. The dark Z disc divides the I band. So all of these bands are in cardiac muscle as well. But cardiac muscle cells branch. This is something that skeletal muscle cells don't have. There's no branching there. Skeletal muscle cells have multiple peripheral nuclei, while cardiac muscle cells have just got one or two nuclei and they're central. These cells have got more mitochondria because they've got to do a lot more work. The heart has to keep pumping, so for that it needs energy. That energy comes from mitochondria. The cells of cardiac muscles are connected by anchoring cell junctions. These are dark staining intercalated discs. These discs join the cells together, mechanically through desmosomes and electrically through gap junctions. Now, this is super important. Gap junctions allow ions to pass between cells, so when there's depolarization of one cell, it can spread to the others. This ensures that all the cells contract together, functionally like a syncytium. The heart has two syncytia, the atrial syncytium and the ventricular syncytium, because the atria contract together and the ventricles contract together. But what starts the contraction? Skeletal muscles are told to contract by the nerves that supply them. Those are somatic nerves. Cardiac muscle has nerves too, autonomic nerves, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system, but they don't initiate contraction. They can change the force of contraction and the heart rate, but the heart has specialized cells that are self excitatory. They initiate contractions. So that's two kinds of cells in the heart. Most of them are contractile cells in the walls of the atria and the ventricles. They are responsible for the generation of force. When they contract, the pressure in the chamber rises. The specialized muscle cells are the conducting cells, which form the conduction system of the heart. That includes the sinoatrial node, the atrioventricular node, the AV bundle, and the Purkinje fibers. Unlike the contractile cells, their job is to conduct the action potentials through the heart. They're also capable of generating their own action potentials, but the sinoatrial node usually takes over that job, thereby suppressing the others, so it becomes the pacemaker of the heart. So the sinoatrial node generates the action potential, which then spreads through the conduction pathways to reach the contractile cells of the atria and the ventricles. The action potentials generated in those cells causes them to contract. The gap junctions ensure that all the muscle cells of the atria contract together, followed by the ventricles, which also contract together. And that's how the heart works like a pump. The atrial contraction helps move blood into the ventricles. The ventricular contraction pumps blood out into the pulmonary trunk to go to the lungs and into the aorta to reach the whole body. The contraction happens with calcium by excitation contraction coupling. In skeletal muscle, this process involved T tubules and the sarcoplasmic reticulum. If we bring back the bands, there's the I band divided by the Z discs and the A bands. Where are the T tubules in skeletal muscles? In those cells, there's one T tubule at every junction between an A band and an I band, so that's two per sarcomere. But in cardiac muscle, there's just one for every sarcomere, and that's at every Z disc. But just like skeletal muscles, the T tubules are important for contraction of cardiac muscle cells as well. And that's the structure of cardiac muscle. If this video helped you, you can give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.